Welcome back to the show. Here with Toma, season 16 winner on The Biggest Loser. We haven't talked in 3 years since the show ended. We were on The Biggest Loser together, so this is really fun for me to have this conversation. A lot of things I want to ask. So when I went up for that first weigh-in in the Coliseum, and they told us before we went on air, you know, this is where all the emotion has to happen. You got to bring your story, all this stuff. And I knew what I weighed when I went to Los Angeles when I did my physical. And so, but I didn't know how much weight I'd gained, right?
Sure.
So, because we were in a hotel for 2 weeks, and I know you were everyone just eating like a pig, right?
No,
what?
Not me. I was
Are
eating.
you kidding?
I was eating clean.
I was trying to get as much food in my system as I possibly could.
I lost weight during the time of the, in the hotel.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So we're stuck in a hotel, okay, for 2 weeks, and they're having the final auditions. There are like 60 people there. And you don't know if you're going to be on the show or not. So I was in training for The Biggest Loser. So when I got on the scale, I had gained 16 pounds from the time I got to.
Wow.
So I was supposed to be sad, right? And my first instinct is like, yes. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, this is tragic. You know, can't believe I gained all this weight kind of thing. So you never had a moment like that?
No, because I just assumed when we got to the hotel, the game started, or like, you know, it's all business. So I didn't know if they were monitoring what we were eating. I didn't know if they were monitoring. So I mean, I was on my best behavior, and I didn't want to. And at the same time, I had already been eating clean for for some time. So now, if I were going to start doing the opposite, it would have just crushed everything. So I just wanted to continue that same pattern.
You're just on this journey.
I was on it, exactly.
Wow. Okay, so we had this one challenge, and you won it. And you had to go in this room. You were all by yourself, and you could eat food. And the person that ate the most food would get immunity for the week, right?
Sure.
And so I ate food, but I only took a little bit, right? I thought I figured no one would eat any of the food, and you did. You kind of went to town.
I sure did. I had I think I consumed about 700 or 800 calories in a matter of a minute.
See, and that's why I thought you were like, okay, this guy's playing the game here. You know, he's like.
Well, I just assumed you had a chance to win immunity, and I don't know. I can go home tomorrow, right? So if I have a chance to save myself, I'm going to do that. And then I realized as soon as I regretted eating that because that food just made me super sick. But more importantly, when I went back to my team, I just ended up working out that much harder to make sure that I didn't hurt our team.
Right. Yeah, because you could win but lose. You could ostracize yourself from the team, and then they'd vote you out if something happened down the road. Strategy involved in this game, I'm telling you.
Lots of strategy.
So when you went home, so you win The Biggest Loser, right? And you win all this money, and you go home. What did you do with the money, by the way?
Well, the taxes, the government took most of it. At least I feel like they took most of it. I took some of it. I think I paid off some school loans. I bought myself a car, took care of some other bills.
Do you have the car still?
I still do. I still have the car.
What kind of car did you get?
Acura TL.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a nice little ride.
Nice.
Yeah, not too bad. I wasn't actually meaning to purchase a car, but when I got home, I totaled my other car. So,
oh, you did?
Yes.
So,
I figured when I had money in the bank, I might as well go do that. So, unfortunately, the money, I feel like it went really quickly. It wasn't a lot of money to begin with. You know, you have all these other reality shows where they win millions of dollars, you know, and not to mention, I mean, $250,000 is a lot of money, but after everyone pays the tax man, you know, everything's pretty much gone. So
there's a lot of hype about, you know, this show really doesn't have a long-term effect on people. A lot of people gain the weight back. There's this whole theory about it wrecks your metabolism for life because you lose weight so quickly that it changes your metabolism, and you literally have to eat like 600 calories a day and work out for 8 hours to maintain your weight. Have you found that to be true? Has it been hard going home?
Well, I'm not a doctor by any means, so I don't know what. I think our metabolisms were probably screwed up before we went on the show.
Sure.
And they're probably, and I don't think the working out as much as we did screwed it up anymore.
Right.
I think the doctor gave us good advice as far as going home. You know, make sure you work out that 5 or 6 days a week, 60 to 90 minutes a day. You know, it's solid advice that I think anybody who is listening would be like, yeah, that's right. You want to maintain or lose weight, or you want to make sure you're going to the gym every day, or at least 5 or 6 times a week. And the problem is, real life gets in the way. And so instead of eating that 2,000 calories a day, you start to eat 2,500 calories or 3,000 calories. You go out with friends and you start eating. You make poor choices. I had injuries. As soon as I came home, within 3 months, I tore a calf muscle playing soccer. I pulled a hamstring later on playing softball, and you get discouraged. And at that time, you're not going to the gym, and you're still now, unfortunately, you're reverting back to the old ways of eating unhealthy. So it's very easy to put the weight back on. Now,
so I put the weight back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm somewhere in between. I feel like I haven't put it all back on. I think I might have gotten there at one point, but between the show and now, I've probably lost weight and gained weight 5 or 6 times. And
really?
I'll probably do that for the rest of my life. And
mine's just been a steady, and it's all of those things you described.
And I think realistically, the most and when you look at the people on The Biggest Loser who were the most successful, they've all made drastic lifestyle changes where they've literally picked themselves up either out of their family environments and they moved into some new role. They've changed their careers completely. They're in the health and wellness world, and that was the one thing that I thought about. And as soon as I left, was do I leave the career I'm in now, the things that I've been working towards, or do I start something completely fresh and new and just work out at a gym, own a gym or do something in the health and wellness industry? And I struggle between that because it's you've worked so hard to get to a certain point, and now you're in a situation where what do I choose? Well, I chose my family. I chose the continued business that I was in, and no regrets on that. It's one of those things where, but I've seen that the more successful Biggest Loser contestants, I feel like they've made that change where it's not just we talk about a lifestyle change. It's more than that. I mean, you're changing your entire life.
So, I was a professional athlete. Millions of people knew who I was from football, right? So there was this football fan base, but then I got home from The Biggest Loser, and it was like totally different fan base. Mostly women, 45 years old, slightly overweight, right? And I mean, I run into people all the time. It's like, I saw you on The Biggest Loser, and I loved you on The Biggest Loser. So was it hard for you to go home? I'm sure a lot of people recognize you from the show. Is it hard to go out and eat? Is it hard to go out in public and go, well, I'm having a cheeseburger right now, and are the eyes on me? Has that ever been a challenge for you?
I'm not Scott Mitchell. And
but you're Toma.
You're right. I am Toma, and I will say that I think I don't know if I'm necessarily seeing those eyes. I feel like I'm probably guilting myself more than anything when I do something like that. Otherwise, I don't feel like you're with friends or family and you're out and you might run into somebody. I don't think anybody necessarily is judging me based on that. I think I'm my own critic. I'm probably my toughest critic that I always have been. So more or less, I'm the one saying like, I probably shouldn't be eating this right now, but you do it anyways.
Do you still eat your favorite food?
Yeah. I think that was the one thing the trainers told us. Is you can't not do that, right?
Change your life.
You can't change. So you just got to. When you start to eat something that's unhealthy, you just have to work out that much harder in the gym.
So, what is your biggest takeaway from your whole experience of The Biggest Loser? What is the one thing you would share with people?
Health and wellness is so much more than just being physically fit. I think you mentioned the spiritual journey. You mentioned there was so much more to that, and I knew there was a piece to me. I was still holding on to my father and the loss of him, and I realized today, maybe I'm not as thin as I was, but I'm in a much better emotional place. My headspace is much better, and I feel like even though I'm not physically healthy, I still feel very healthy. And much healthier than I was in the past. So for me, that's a win. And that's what I want to tell people at home is, being healthy isn't just being physically fit, because I've met some of the most physical fit people in the world, and even they had some emotional distress and that there were things that they were going through, right? And at the end of the day, like I said, there's so much more to that. So making sure that we're at peace with our things that we do at home with our family, making sure you make the right choices, you have good character. You want to eat well, you want to be physically fit, and you get your sleep. All those things are a big part of that. That's what creates the entire health and wellness package. So, there's so many people out there that have this, I want to hit this number, I'm going to be healthy when I hit this number, and that's not the case, because we know that there's so much more emotional baggage that's around that. So until you shake that all off, you'll never be fit.
Yeah, it's not a destination. It's like just a state of being that health and wellness. Well said. All right, our time's up, which I know this went super fast.
Sure.
Because I didn't get through like half my questions.
I know you probably got 100 more questions for me. Yeah.
I have 100 more, which we're going to talk about later. All right, so thank you so much for being on the show. Helmets Off is now off. You can text helmets to 65537. You go down that little corner there and like us on all those social media pages. And if you're smart, Hopefully you are, because you're watching this. Go on your smartphone, push your podcast button, type in Helmets There We Are. Until then, we'll catch you soon.